Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Elial. In this incarnation, I am here to comment that tomorrow the moon moves out from Leo and enters in Virgo. So we enter in the preview of the eclipse. Also, the conjunction between the Sun and Saturn, it is perfected, and we start to feel Mercury stationary. So there is a lot of movement in relation to Mercury, the retrogradation that starts on March 15th. In some places, it is the 14th. It depends on where you are. It is a phase to review and to also find another perspective, a different one of what has been occurring since March 1st until this point. And as I mentioned yesterday, Venus is going to be also retrograde, very close of Mercury. So this is about past dynamic, past relationship dynamics, also reviewing creative projects, conversations, initiatives, and also what responds to our true desire of the soul that perhaps was something that we weren't bringing to the consciousness. I mean, it is also part of the retrogradation of Venus to understand that there are things that are not in alignment with that anymore. But the retrogradation of Mercury implies that many times in the house that we have areas in our natal chart, things are stopped or perhaps stagnant for a while, so we can make these adjustments. And it is important to remind this because Mercury in Aries, it is not the most patient position. In fact, in its shadow area and energy, it is pretty much about focusing on something and wanting that right now, right here, right now. But the reality is that we cannot control the times of certain processes. We can influence in that in a positive way by focusing ourselves in what serves to move forward. But the truth is that we want something. We want to accelerate something or get a result before the time, because if it is not manifesting, that has a reason. We are losing sight of the most important thing. We are not opening ourselves to learn or to integrate what this moment is offering to us. And also, it is a signal of a part of ourselves that needs to develop maturity because, for example, children, when they are very in their first years, they live in the here and now, and that's why they have difficulties to wait or to understand time beyond what they are experimenting. They are not thinking in long term, you know. And from a more elevated space, this isn't even about the result, but it is about how we are transiting the path there to there. So it is important to also observe the other polarity, which is the resistance to initiate or giving new steps, because there is where the cardinal energy is moving. This is very important in anticipation of what we are having at the end of March, because Neptune is going to enter in Aries, Saturn is going to do it later, and Jupiter enters in Cancer in June. So we are going to have a lot of cardinal movement of new experiences for oneself, which doesn't mean that are new for the environment. Coming back to this thing of the resistance to move forward or to initiate, I'm trying to say that while we are in contact in the Aries house of our natal chart with ways of opening the path, and that perhaps requiring a certain courage, bravery, because some movements could be linked with following a personal impulse aligned to the soul, because this thing of the alignment, it is important. There could be impulses that are a deviation, and we can also learn about them. In fact, they have to happen many times to identify what is a deviation and what is not. But what I am talking about it is that personal impulse, perhaps it is about moving forward over situations that we didn't experiment before, in which perhaps we are pioneers in our families, in our environments, or they call us to the transcendence of what we think others are expecting and our own fears. And also with the conjunction between the Sun and Saturn in Pisces, there are people that are noticing that there are situations that they cannot sustain anymore because they are assuming burdens and things that are not their responsibility to assume. And with the Virgo eclipse, there could be conflicts between what is correct and what is incorrect, because actually the function of Virgo is discernment between good and evil. It is just that we have to understand that good, it is a well-channeled energy in function of the sense of our own path and of the experiences that we need to integrate. So we have to learn to see beyond the polarities of good and evil. I'm going to put an example that I gave many times before. If we are constantly giving energy to other people without limit, if we are constantly helping others without limit, that is going to drain us, and we are not going to be able to attend other things in our experience that are also important. But if we are only focused in ourselves without making any contribution to others, there will be an imbalance too. So that's why the purposes of the soul are very important, because they are going to be linked with forms of contribution with others that are actually recharging us. And what develops from this eclipse right now, that it is not about this week nor March 14th, but it is something that life is going to invite us to do in the next months in the Virgo area. It is identify what is truly operating at the service of the soul and of the collective redemption, and what is not. This kind of discernment from habits, from the labors that we are doing, and the ways of serving others and oneself. And ourselves. Sorry. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.